The story of the monk who learned to control his anger. Once there was a monk who lived in the monastery with other monks. One day he decided to meditate alone, away from his monastery. There was a lake nearby where not many people would visit. He decided to go to that lake to meditate. When he reached that lake, there was no one else there. He took a boat out to the middle of the lake. When he reached in the middle of the lake, he moored the boat there. There he sat with his eyes closed and began to meditate. After a few hours of undisturbed silence, he suddenly felt a bump of another boat colliding with his boat. The monk got disturbed, but he kept his eyes closed. Again he felt the bump. With his eyes closed, he sensed his danger rising, but still he kept his eyes closed and stayed silent. After a while, again he felt the bump, and by this time he was ready to scream at the boatman who dared to disturb his meditation. When he couldn't control any more, he opened his eyes and looked toward the other boat to scream. But to his surprise, when he opened his eyes, he saw that it was an empty boat that had probably got loose and floated to the middle of the lake. As soon as the monk saw this, at that moment he achieved self-realization, and he understood that anger was within him and it merely needed the bump of an external object to provoke it out of him. From then on, whenever the monk would come across someone who would irritate him or try to provoke him, he would remind himself, the other person is merely an empty boat. The anger is within me.